Forecast First, sponsored by Hines Roofing, voted the best in Central Illinois.
Good evening. I'm your local weather authority, Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates. We are seeing some additional light snow showers this evening. So far, it's pretty light, and it will gradually taper off. 34 degrees currently. You can see snow filling back in on the radar along I-74 over the past few hours. And while this looks like it's going to ramp up, it will not last longer than the next couple of hours. Skies just becoming cloudy with some lingering flurries. But we could see some more snow tomorrow. I'll have that forecast coming up. WMBD News at 5 starts now.
If you have people in the hospital for COVID, and you have people in the hospital for the flu, and you have babies in the hospital for RSV, all of a sudden you're running out of places in the hospital.
Coming up, what Central Illinois health officials are finding out when it comes to the threat of a triple-demic. Also, a house fire in Peoria Heights leaves one person dead. The latest information and some new video from that scene. Then a 15-year-old Peoria boy is dead, and now one person has been arrested for his murder. What the police chief has to say about that investigation. But first at 5, we've got the first measurable snowfall of the year from overnight. We're going to take a look at some of the footage from this morning around Peoria. That snow stopped for now, but different areas around Central Illinois got different amounts of accumulation. And your local weather authority chief meteorologist Chris Yates joins us now. Chris, we know you've been churning out those numbers. What were those snowfall totals looking like?
Yeah, there was a wide range. Most of it fell in the 1 to 3 inch range, but we did have some people, as always, that like to overachieve. And we're looking at northern parts of Fulton and southern Knox counties picking up the most. There was some 3 to 4 inch totals. Peoria coming in around 2.8. That is not the official number. We're still waiting on that. Eureka coming in around 2 and Washington at 1.8. Now, typically we don't get our first 1 inch snowfall until early December. So this has been a bit of an early arrival. And if you remember last year, we didn't get our first big snow until after Christmas. But in Peoria, the average first 1 inch snow comes December 7th. And in Normal, that's December 9th. Now, the earliest on record for Peoria goes back to September 25th. And of course, I've got more snowfall totals on our website, a complete list, in fact, at ciproud.com.
Oh, as you said, us overachievers always pulling off different feats.
It's got to go crazy.
All right, Chris, thank you so much. And as it gets colder, sicknesses tend to make their appearances. There's a possibility of what's being called a triple-demic this winter. Local doctors say as COVID-19 is still present, RSV and flu cases are on the rise. WMBD's Demetrius Sanders joins us live at our newsroom right now, and he shows us what impact those 3 viruses are having on us locally. Demetrius?
Well, Shelby, RSV and the flu are both respiratory illnesses that are surging across the country and right here in Central Illinois. And with both illnesses overlapping each other and COVID-19's presence, doctors say it's important to do what you can to prevent further spread.
It seems to be a trifecta of respiratory illnesses, doctors warning of a potential surge of COVID-19 as RSV and flu cases are currently increasing.
Once we become indoors, people are closer together, people spend more time together inside, all of those illnesses go up.
RSV causes the infection bronchiolitis, which most seriously impacts children under the age of 2.
Basically, a really bad cold that causes a lot of snotty nose and cough and congestion. And then it can spread into the lower airways in the lungs.
It isn't a new illness, but is sending children to the hospital. Dr. Trina Crolin with OSF Healthcare's Children's Hospital says they are seeing high volumes in their emergency room and inpatient units.
We have an overflow unit open. We're calling in extra staff and nursing staff and respiratory therapists, et cetera, to help care for these children.
After remaining mostly quiet for the past 2 years, flu is circulating quickly throughout the country, with Illinois currently at a high activity level, according to the CDC.
We're usually a December, January peak for us, and we're really kind of seeing it early.
While local hospitals aren't overwhelmed with flu patients yet, it has happened before, including in 2009, and doctors say it's important to get your flu vaccine.
Some people think that it's already circulating at a high level, so I'm not going to get vaccinated. And so there's never too late of a time to get the influenza vaccine.
Now, there isn't a vaccine for RSV, so it's important to wash your hands and don't allow babies to have visitors for their first 6 to 8 weeks. And you can also be tested to determine if you have RSV, flu, or COVID. Shelby?
Demetrius, thank you. Also in Health Matters, leaders at the Health and Human Services campus in Peoria breaking ground today. It happened at the Peoria City County Health Department this afternoon. The new facility will house multiple establishments. Those include the Health Department, the Coroner's Office, the Regional Office of Education, and the Sustainability and Resource Conservation Department. American Rescue Plan Act money will fund the building and the health reserve. We're told it will not raise property taxes.
I am super excited that I've been a part of this, that it's a building that's going to last us for, many, many decades, and I feel great that I've been a part of it.
And during construction, the health department will be spread throughout the county. Construction is expected to start in spring of next year and finish late next fall. We've got some new details about a deadly house fire last night in Peoria Heights. One person who has not been identified yet is dead, as well as 2 dogs. It happened on East Lake Avenue near North Atlantic Avenue. Peoria, West Peoria, Peoria Heights, and Dunlap fire departments all responded to that scene. And you're looking at some footage from this morning. As you can see, there's some major fire and smoke damage to one house. The second home has damage to its exterior with no damage to the inside of the home. And we're now going to take a look at some new footage from that scene last night. Incredible here. This is video from one viewer who captured the explosion from their Ring camera. That fire is still under investigation. We'll have the latest details over on our website. That's ciproud.com. And a crime alert now. Peoria police have arrested an 18-year-old for first-degree murder, and that's in connection to a shooting death earlier this month. Officers arrested Eric D. Jackson Monday night. Investigators believe he's responsible for killing 15-year-old Marion Smith. Additionally, Jackson faces charges of domestic battery and criminal trespass to a vehicle. But even with news of Jackson's arrest, Peoria Police Chief Erica Chavarria tells us the investigation is ongoing.
Like I said, there's one person in custody. So the investigation will continue. There's still more work to do. And so hopefully we'll have further information here in the near future on this case.
And if you do have any additional details, you're asked to call the numbers listed at the bottom of your screen. From our Capitol newsroom now, the right to collectively bargain is now enshrined into the Illinois Constitution. Amendment 1 on the ballot has received 53% of the vote, and that means the measure, also called the Workers' Rights Amendment, received a simple majority of all votes cast in the election, which was one of the ways it was able to pass. Supporters say the amendment will give workers a sense of protection while on the job.
This guarantees protections most of us are already proud to enjoy. And it guarantees that no politician could ever take away our fundamental right to organize or to bargain collectively with our coworkers for things like higher pay, safer workplaces.
Federal protections exist that guarantee workers the right to collectively bargain and to negotiate hours, wages, and working conditions. Now, the state cannot pass any right to work laws or any laws that infringe on those rights. And a developing story, will he or won't he? That's what the nation is expecting to hear from former President Trump's big announcement plan tonight. The 45th president expected to make another run for office in a speech scheduled for 8 o'clock. Our Austin Schick shows us how that move is unprecedented. Austin?
Well, yeah, Shelby, for months, the former president has been dropping hints that he has his sights on winning a second term in office. Last week, teasing a big announcement, and tonight we'll find out exactly what that is. Now, in history, only one president has served 2 non-consecutive terms. That was Grover Cleveland way back in 1885, then again in 1893. Now, despite a midterm in which many of his supported candidates lost, it seems Trump is looking to be president once again. A political science professor at ISU says Trump's possible involvement in the insurrection and continuing to denounce results of the 2020 election could hurt him.
Whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, you need to think really hard about whether you want a leader who does not agree with what the voters say, or when he does not agree with what the voters say, he thinks he should be able to change it.
And many prominent Republicans, including Illinois House Republican leader Jim Durkin, pointing some of the blame to Trump for an overall disappointing midterm in which the GOP hoped to take back control of both the House and the Senate. Shelby.
Austin, thank you. New at 5, Remembering the Forgotten. The Freedom and Remembrance Memorial is a trio of Illinois state historical markers that are paying tribute to 2,600 Peorians buried in a forgotten cemetery. 2 large blue and gold markers unveiled at the Peoria Riverfront Museum today. One of Nancy Leggins Costley, the first enslaved person freed by Abraham Lincoln in 1841. And the other describes the story of Moffett Cemetery. Nearly 70 years ago, the Moffett Cemetery in South Peoria was commercially developed, with thousands of Peorians still buried underneath. Bob Hoffer with Freedom and Remembrance says it's important
they would recognize the history of Peoria. This is a very amazing place when you think about the 300+ years of history that is here.
The third marker commemorates 52 veterans buried at the cemetery, mainly from the Civil War. That marker was unveiled in July. All markers are now on display at the museum. Hoffer says the hope is to install them by the cemetery site next spring. WMBD is proud to begin its search for remarkable women across Central Illinois. Our parent company, Nexstar Media Group, is recognizing local women who make a tremendous difference through community contribution, self-achievement, and impact on family. You can nominate a remarkable woman in your life today online at ciproud.com. Submissions are open now through December 17th. Coming up, Hall of Fame broadcaster and Los Angeles Dodgers announcer Charlie Steiner in Central Illinois. Our sports director, Kurt Pegler, breaks down his visit to Bradley University.
And light snow showers continue this hour over much of the area. Here's a look at satellite radar showing these showers moving across the region. We're going to get a little bit of a break tonight, but there could be more on the way tomorrow. We'll have your forecast coming up next.
You're watching WMBD News, Central Illinois Proud, with Shelby Roberts, Rebecca Brumfield, and Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates with your local weather authority forecast. This is WMBD News at 5. The Storm Tracker Skycam Network, brought to you by Linco Precision Ag Technology Solutions. Now, your local weather authority forecast from Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates.
Welcome back. We woke up to snow this morning, had a little bit of a break throughout the afternoon, but that light snow is continuing to fall here in Peoria. This is the view on our Children's Hospital of Illinois camera right on top of here at the station. We're looking at some nearby parking lots, and you can just see the snowflakes coming through. It looks a little heavier than it actually is because we are kind of zoomed in, but overall, we're not quite done with this system. In fact, we've got another little round coming in even tomorrow after this little batch kind of tapers off tonight. Temps now holding in the low to mid 30s, Peoria 31. You can see some snow kind of building back into the Peoria metro. This is going to continue through about 7 or 8 o'clock, and then it should taper off as that first system starts to move out of the area, but there is more back to the west, where we've got another system that's bringing some light snow to parts of Nebraska. You can see the snow showers and flurries continuing in South Dakota and Iowa as well. But we are going to get a nice little break here in between these two waves. This first wave moving out here in the next couple of hours. Next wave starts to slide in tomorrow. We get a little brief burst of activity tomorrow morning and some widely scattered snow showers for tomorrow afternoon. But as for tonight, here's what Future Track shows. Any lingering snow showers gradually taper off through about 8. It'll just be cloudy with some lingering flurries late tonight. And then by 6 or 7 o'clock, the snow is probably going to start to ramp up ahead of that next wave. And right now, it looks like it's going to develop near, if not right on, Interstate 74 for that morning commute. Temperatures dropping into the upper 20s for most locations tonight. There will be some lower 30s sprinkled in, however. Peoria down to 29. And then for tomorrow, scattered snow showers in the morning. It becomes a bit more hit and miss once you get into the afternoon, but the snow showers that do develop later in the day could be a little more intense and could create some sudden drops in visibility and bring some brief burst of snow that could create a quick dusting of accumulation. But the way it stands now, we're expecting less than an inch across the board. Now, any prolonged light snow showers that can maintain over a certain area, over some small spots, could contribute to just over an inch of snow. But I think those accumulations are going to be few and far between. And when it comes to road conditions, I think generally speaking, the roads are just going to stay wet, but there is going to be a moment of opportunity here between 8 and 9 o'clock where you could see some snow building up on the pavements or at least any untreated surfaces. Bridges, overpasses could get a little slick for that morning commute, but for the most part, roads should be in pretty good condition, and high temperatures are looking to be back into the mid-30s. By tomorrow night, snow showers taper off. Skies will be mostly cloudy. There's another wave coming in Thursday that I'm expecting to trigger some additional snow flurries. We'll keep an eye out, see if that turns into more organized snow showers, but the way it's trending, it looks like it's going to be cool and dry to finish out the work week. We'll be back.
This is breaking news from WMBD News.
Just into the newsroom now, a 20-year-old from Pekin has now been charged with first-degree murder. Kobe Kincaid was previously arrested for aggravated battery and criminal damage to property after a 53-year-old man was found beaten on Halloween in Pekin. On November 11th, Pekin police were notified that that man did die from his injuries. Now Kincaid is charged with first-degree murder. We're working to learn more details about this case. In other news, Hall of Fame broadcaster and Los Angeles Dodgers announcer Charlie Steiner is back in Central Illinois this week, and he's got some tips for the next generation of communication professionals. For more, here's WMBD Sports Director Kurt Pegler, and it's a story that's new at 5. Kurt.
Well, Shelby, Charlie Steiner is in Peoria for his annual symposium on sports broadcasting at his alma mater, Bradley University. And although he grew up in New York and now lives in L.A., Steiner says Peoria will always have a special place in his heart because it's where his broadcast career began. He also has a message for the next generation.
How do I stand out? You don't. You be yourself. If you're good enough, you will stand out. But to start waving flags and pom-poms and making noise and all of that, just be yourself and be truthful.
Steiner says he always feels more grounded when he visits Bradley and Peoria. His symposium returned for the first time since 2019 due to the pandemic. Shelby.
All right, some very good words of advice, Kurt. Thank you. Peoria Notre Dame High School boys soccer team touring the city of Peoria today, but they did it in style. Check this out. It's all in celebration of their recent state championship. The team traveled via fire truck to local Catholic schools, and they ended the afternoon with a celebratory rally at Notre Dame High School. And now let's take a look at what's coming up on News Nation tonight, including on Cuomo.
Tonight on my show on News Nation. Will Donald Trump really announce a third presidential bid, even after the midterms? Can the former president bounce back, or is tonight the first shot in a GOP civil war? We have it covered from all sides before and after the speech, tonight on a live special edition of the show.
That's all coming up tonight on the fastest growing cable news network in America, News Nation, which you can watch at the cable and satellite channels on your screen. Still to come, 'tis the season for giving, the annual fundraiser to help those in need in the Twin Cities.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
Well, it is the season of giving, and the Salvation Army of McLean County is kicking off its annual fundraiser. You know that sound. Starting tomorrow, bell ringers will be collecting money in the famous red kettles through Christmas Eve. Last year, the campaign raising over $500,000 for the Salvation Army. This year's goal is $600,000. Funds collected help support the food pantry, rental assistance, and homeless shelters.
Inflationary things and the pressures that families are facing, it's really tough to make ends meet, and if you get a crisis of some kind, it's very difficult to meet the needs, or to be able to make ends meet.
And red kettles will be placed at 19 different locations throughout Bloomington Normal. You can also donate online or through mail. Don't go anywhere. Chief Meteorologist Chris Yates has a final look at the forecast after the break.
You're watching WMBD News at 5.
All right, Chris, so the snow, you prepared us for that, so we thank you.
You're welcome.
It is still coming down our way.
Yeah, we still got a little bit of light snow falling in and around Peoria. Be careful out there. Most roads are just wet, but still could get a little slick. 29 for a low temperature tonight. Snow showers will taper off the flurries, but we've got another round of snow showers on the way tomorrow. Thinking that'll start to kind of pick up a bit around the morning commute. There could be some light slush building up on some area roads. So once again, just take it slow, get there nice and safe. And then flurries again Thursday, outright cold Friday. And we should start to see a little bit of a warm up heading into early next week.
All right, Chris, thank you, and happy birthday to you, too.
Thank you.
All right, we'll see you at 6.